Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. With the name of Allah, the gracious and compassionate. And alhamdulillah, as-salatu salam ala Rasulillah al-Kareem. Really all praise for Allah, praise and peace be upon His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. At this time, we're going to hear from Sheikh Yusuf in his response to the questions that you have offered. As you can see, he is going through them very diligently. Even though he's tearing them up, don't think he's just disregarding the questions. He's actually consolidating the questions and putting them in a manner where he can respond to them. There's quite a volume of questions, and I'm not sure that he's going to be able to get to all of them tonight. However, we would like to encourage you to visit his website. That's todayislam.com. And if there are any questions that you have that are not answered tonight, he will gladly answer them for you on the internet, inshallah ta'ala. I'd like to share with you an experience that I had on one of his visits to our prisons in South Carolina. We have approximately 22,000 inmates in the South Carolina Department of Corrections, of which about 5% of them are Muslim, roughly 1,000 Muslims spread out throughout 29 correctional facilities, which I have to service throughout the state. And on one of his visits, he encouraged the men in the particular facility to tell their families about the website. And you know, if you know anything about corrections and inmates, inmate mentality is something that's very, very delicate, and very guarded, to say the least. So he encouraged the inmates to tell their families to go to the website and pull up some information off of the website and print it, but don't read it. And can you imagine an inmate in a prison telling his family member to go to the website, print some information, but don't read it? What are they going to do? Read it. One young man told his sister to do that. She read the information. She went to the mosque in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she became a Muslim. She took her declaration of faith. Alhamdulillah. So I hope that you will get, I know you get your time worthwhile answered in the question that he will be answering. So without any further ado, you know, this is the only man that I've ever met who has elevated pizza to another level. He's ever elevated pizza to another level. When he's around the youth, he'll ask them, "What's brain food?" And they look at each other.
It's peanut butter material.
and they'll look at each other like, "Brain food? What's brain food?" But you know, if you go to any college campus today and you see them staying up late at night studying, cramming, you know, for the exams, and they eat this food that comes in a big box that comes to them on wheels. And so it must be brain food.
You didn't tell us how you said. All right, he got half of it, but he didn't get all of it. The whole idea behind bringing this up is not just to talk about brain food. And so, because I work with children who are descendants of Arabs many times in the United States, and the children are very Americanized, if you will, and they don't really speak very much Arabic. So, the Arabic language is very powerful and has a lot of things, but there's two things that the Arabic language doesn't have. The letter V is in Volkswagen, and the letter P as in Pakistan. So whenever I tell the story of the pizza, I say, "Now would you like me to teach you how to say brain food in Arabic?" They say, "Yeah, pizza." It goes good with Bitsy. And when the man delivers it, he barks the car and comes in with it. I can't believe you stole my material, man. I'm going to let it slide because you had a long day today. Inshallah, God willing, we're going to try to answer 12 questions. The majority of the questions that came were very similar, so what I did, I took the opportunity to compile them down. Then any of the questions which deal with issues that are for Muslims to ask their scholars, I defer that to a scholar. We do have our own sheikh with us, and if anybody has any questions, Muslim questions for a scholar, He's sitting right over there. They can ask him. Okay? Because that's not my job. My job is not to talk to you in Arabic language, and my job is not to tell you what we call Islamic ruling or fatwa. That's not my job. And I'm dealing only with the questions relative to the topic we had tonight. So if you had questions not relative, then you can present them to him, and he'll be happy through translation if you need it to give you any answers you would like, God willing. Okay, let's begin. And I wanted statistical information about Islam. How many Muslims are in the USA? And actually, I had to ask my sheikh, how many was that?
Between 6 and 10 million.
He said between 6 and 10 million. Then they asked how many mosques are in the United States. About 1,200, with more being built every day. I would like to mention this. You didn't ask this question, but my colleague and I can testify to this without any hesitation or reservation to tell you that without doubt, while we had our program tonight, I'm sure a lot more people in America became Muslim. Because even in his one state of South Carolina, there are literally thousands who have come into Islam. And in my state, which is, I live in Northern Virginia, right by Washington, D.C., we also see many hundreds. I've given what we call Shahada to so many that I lost the count years ago. Many people are entering Islam in America and in other countries. But you might also like to know, who are these people? Many of them are African Americans. But there are other ethnic groups as well. From the white Americans, they don't have a lot of knowledge of it, and it wasn't until September 11th that we started to go on their pilgrimage to Jerusalem. They try, and these are good people. We should give them credit for what they're trying to do. But in Islam, it's very clear that if a person leaves any of the 5 points that I mentioned, they're leaving Islam. So for the benefit of the Muslims who thought they could just say, I love Allah, and Allah loves me, Allah answered them. This is for the Muslims. I'll tell you what the Quran said. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل إن كنتم توهبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله. Tell them, if they say I love Allah, tell them then follow me, meaning the Prophet. And then and only then Allah will love them and forgive their sins. So this is very important for us to know that Islam requires more than belief. You have to work every day. So that's to give a little overall. Somebody wanted me to do comparative religion. That's as far as I'll go. The next thing it asks, they ask the question, how can I get a copy of the Holy Quran? And I appreciate that, and I wish I could tell you how easy it is to do it in the States. But here it's more complicated. Your